Your boss walks over and asks you one question. Are our containers secure? And you point at your scanner. The images are scanned. The YAML passes the linter. Green across the board. We're good. Here's the uncomfortable part. That answer isn't wrong. It's just dangerously incomplete. A clean image scan tells you one thing about one layer of a system that has at least four. It's like checking the front door is locked and calling the whole building secure. If you work in IT, DevOps, or cloud, you're almost certainly running containers. Docker and Kubernetes changed how we build and ship software. And quietly, they changed how much of your infrastructure is now exposed. So, in the next few minutes, we're going to do three things. We'll look at what container security actually involves, the whole thing, not just scanning. We'll walk through the real OWASP risk landscape because there's more than one list, and most articles get this wrong. And we'll break down a real breach that turned every one of those abstract risks into a headline. Then I'll give you a repeatable way to reason through all of it. Let's make this simple. Before we get into risks, one thing I need you to hear. There's a myth that cloud native security is some separate discipline, a whole new universe of tools and implementation of tools and acronyms that has nothing to do with the infrastructure you already run. It isn't. A container is just a processes host on a Linux host. A Kubernetes cluster is a distributed system with a network, an API, identities, and permissions. If you've spent years managing servers, segmenting networks, handling credentials, figuring out why service A can't talk to service B, you already understand the substance of what container security protects. You're not learning a new language, you're adding a defensive accent to one you already speak. That's the unfair advantage we talk about all the time for IT pros moving into security. So, as the risks pile up in a second, remember none of them are magic. Most of them are old infrastructure problems wearing new clothes. Here's the first thing most teams get wrong: they treat security as a gate at the end. It's not a gate, it's continuous, and it lives across three phases. Phase one: build, securing the supply chain, signing images, pinning trusted base images, scanning for known vulnerabilities. This is the phase your scanner covers, and only this phase. Phase two: deploy, enforcing policy before a container is ever allowed to run. Is it asking for root? Does it carry a hard coded secret? Is it demanding privileges it doesn't need? Your scanner has nothing to say about this. Phase three: run, watching the live environment. If a container that should be serving web traffic suddenly spawns a shell, or starts scanning your internal network, or phones home to some unknown IP, something needs to catch that and isolate it in real time while it's happening. Image scanning touches exactly one of those three phases. That's the whole problem in one sentence. Now, if you go searching for container risks, you'll hear people say the OWASP top 10 for containers, like it's one thing. It isn't. And this trips up a lot of engineers. OWASP actually maintains two different projects here, and they do genuinely different jobs. The OWASP Docker top 10 isn't even a risk list. It's 10 security controls, a spec sheet for building a secure Docker environment at the container and host layer. The one people usually mean is the OWASP Kubernetes Top 10, a prioritized list of how Kubernetes environments actually get compromised. I'm not going to read all 10 at you, they're on screen. But look at the shape of this list: insecure workload configurations, pods running as root, broken authentication, an exposed dashboard, missing network segmentation, a flat cluster where every pod talks to every other pod, hard coded secrets, unpatched components. Notice how ordinary these are: overly permissive access, flat networks, hard coded credentials, no logging. These are the exact failures that have haunted on prem infrastructure for 20 years. They just moved into the cluster. And here's the kicker: look at how much of that list your scanner can actually see. A couple of items, vulnerable components, maybe a secret baked into an image, but it will never tell you your network is flat, that a dashboard is open to the internet, that there's a service account has cluster admin for no reason. The scan comes back green and you're still wide open. If that feels abstract, let me make it concrete. In 2018, hackers mined cryptocurrency on Tesla's cloud, and they didn't hack anything. They walked through an open door. February 2018. A cloud security firm called Redlock reports that attackers got into Tesla's cloud environment. The way in wasn't clever. Tesla's Kubernetes admin console was exposed to the internet with no password on it at all. No exploit, no 0 day. The door was just open. Once inside, the attackers found a pod with hard coded AWS credentials sitting right there in it. Those keys unlocked an S3 bucket full of sensitive vehicle telemetry and gave them access to Tesla's cloud compute. And what did they do with all that stolen horsepower? They ran a crypto mining operation on Tesla's own infrastructure. And that was only possible because the workloads had no resource limits. And they were even careful about it: hid their traffic behind Cloudflare, used non standard ports, kept CPU usage low enough to stay under the radar. Now step back and look at the anatomy: an exposed console, a hard coded secret, unconstrained workloads, chained together into a full cloud compromise. And not one line of application code was exploited. The app was fine. The environment hosting it was the vulnerability. That's the lesson worth tattooing on your monitor. In the container world, the breach usually isn't in the code, it's in the configuration. And so the natural reaction is buy another tool. And I want to push back on that. A scanner produces this beautiful stream of output: green check marks, neat little CVE counts. It feels like security. But buying a tool doesn't give you security, it gives you alerts. A scanner is a shopping list of things that might be wrong. It has no idea which of those things actually matter in your environment, which container would hurt the business if it got popped, or whether your real exposure is something it can't even see, like Tesla's open dashboard. The thing that turns a pile of alerts into actual security isn't another tool, it's a decision making framework. At Blue Team Academy, that framework has a name: the threat and control method. Four phases: inventory, threats, controls, scale. Let me show you how it lands on a container environment you could start on tomorrow morning. Phase one: inventory. You can't protect what you can't see. Before you buy a single runtime tool, map what you own. Where are your images coming from? How many clusters do you have? And is any dashboard reachable from the internet? That's the Tesla question. Who has cluster admin? Most teams find their real risk is something they forgot they were running. Phase two: threats. Don't stop at "we might get hacked." Get specific. What happens if a developer commits an AWS key into an image? If someone pops our front end pod, what stops them reaching the payment pod right next to it? Then rank them. The whole point is deciding what matters first. Phase three: controls. Now you pick controls matched to your ranked threats: lateral movement between pods, network policies, default deny, containers running as root, and admission controller that blocks it, hard coded secrets, a real secrets manager, plus a scan so keys never reach a manifest. Phase four: scale. Containers are ephemeral, they live and die in seconds. Any control that depends on a human remembering to check something will fail by Wednesday. So the reasoning moves into the pipeline, scanning in CI CD that breaks the build on a critical vuln, continuous config auditing, and every new microservice automatically runs through inventory, threats, controls before it ships. So here's where we land. Container security isn't a separate universe reserved for some cloud native priesthood. Strip away the buzzwords, and it's the same discipline you've practiced for years: least privilege, segmentation, credential hygiene, patching, visibility, applied to infrastructure that just moves faster and disappears quicker. The teams that get breached usually aren't the ones without tools. They're the ones drowning in alerts with no framework to decide what matters. Learn the real risks, study the breaches, run everything through inventory, threats, controls, scale. Do that, and container security stops being a guessing game. Because at the end of the day, cybersecurity is not rocket science. You just watch the method run once on containers. Inside the Blue Team Academy course, it becomes automatic, applied across every environment you'll defend, not just this one. It's built for experienced IT pros who don't want another pile of tools to memorize, but a repeatable way to think, decide, and act like a defender. Links in the description. And if you want to keep sharpening the way you think about this stuff, our newsletter, Keep It IFER, Keep It Safe, breaks down a real threat and how to reason through it every week. Also linked below. If this was useful, subscribe. We take apart a real breach like Tesla's on a regular basis. See you in the next one.